Let's get it. It's 8:30. We got about 2 hours. Okay.
No matter who you are, there are times it can be tough to be yourself when you
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. So yesterday I released a video covering all the data that I'd collected, and honestly I collected all of those stories and all of that data probably over the last 7 days or so. I spent a lot of time putting it all together, delving in deeper into the details of the polls, and honestly as I was working on that video I was thinking to myself, holy freaking moly, this is real bad for Kamala Harris. I'm not sure if it can get any worse, but oh boy, as per usual, how naive I was. I mean, I was expecting things to get worse, but I didn't expect it to come out so fast. And almost instantly, the video I recorded yesterday is old freaking news, not as relevant. It just got so much worse for Kamala Harris. When I said that Kamala Harris is on track to possibly lose the national vote and might lose in all 7 swing states, I guess I might have been onto something. Let me show you guys what's going on. Let's have a conversation about it. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So I sat down on my computer starting my workday, and the first headline that pops up on my feed is this: Trump releases internal poll showing himself ahead in every swing state. All but one are within the margin of error. Former president and Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump released an internal poll from his campaign showing him ahead of Vice President and Democratic nominee Kamala Harris in every swing state on Thursday. According to the memo from campaign pollster Tony Fabrizio and John McLaughlin, Trump was up by 5 points in Georgia, 3 in Arizona, up 1 point in Nevada, 1 point in Michigan, 1 point in North Carolina, 1 point in Pennsylvania.
So let's rewind that. I want to hear those numbers again.
Up on my feed.
I want to hear them again.
Trump releases internal poll showing himself ahead in every swing state. All but one are within the margin of error. Former president and Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump released an internal poll from his campaign showing him ahead of Vice President and Democratic nominee Kamala Harris in every swing state on Thursday. According to the memo from campaign pollster Tony Fabrizio and John McLaughlin, Trump is up by 5 points in Georgia, 3 in Arizona.
That's crazy if he takes Georgia like
1 point in Michigan, 1 point in North Carolina, 1 point in Pennsylvania, and 1 point in Wisconsin. As you can clearly see, President Trump...
She's not winning. Chat, I don't give a fuck. She's not winning. She will not win. It's... Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, guys. I pushed the wrong button. There we go. We're back. All right, hold on. Sorry, I pushed the wrong button. I went to open my task manager because my Google, my Google Drive's open, it makes my PC, my stream run really, really slow. So, all right, let's get it. Give me 1 second.
Amazon actually has
sorry, I accidentally pushed that. I did not mean to do that.
To pay out.
Details of the poll was expected freaking thing of error. Former president and Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump released an internal poll from his campaign showing him ahead of Vice President and Democratic nominee Kamala Harris in every swing state on Thursday. According to the memo from campaign pollster Tony Fabrizio and John McLaughlin, Trump is up by 5 points in Georgia, 3 in Arizona, up 1 point in Nevada, 1 point in Michigan, 1 point in North Carolina, 1 point in Pennsylvania, and 1 point in Wisconsin. As you can clearly see, President Trump holds an edge in all 7 battleground states, including all the blue wall states. This data projected out would put President Trump at 312 electoral votes. As of President Trump is at...
If he gets 312 electoral votes, that'll be fucking wild.
We're on the precipice of 50% in virtually all of these states. Folks, it seems almost as if we're headed right back to where we were. That's what I've been saying. It feels like I'm getting flashbacks to the last election cycle, which was a couple months ago, oddly enough. But it's pretty much true. We had 2 elections this season. Like I've said previously, Donald Trump might be the first president in American history to win 2 elections in a single freaking year. But anyways, let's get back on track here. What I was trying to say is, it feels the exact same. When Joe Biden first announced that he was running for re-election and all the polls started to come out, it was pretty tight. Most of the races were within the margin of error. Joe Biden had pretty significant leads in some of the states. Then as time went by, as Joe started to campaign, it got closer and closer as time went on, and then we kept seeing the same headline: Trump ahead in every swing state. You guys remember that, right? Well, it seems like we're right back there. We went with Kamala Harris is in a great position to win, although it's going to be a close race, to now Donald Trump is possibly ahead in every single single swing state. That is freaking huge, folks. And of course, I know exactly what all the Democrats are going to say. They're going to claim it's another Republican push poll. But obviously, these people haven't been paying attention. There's no such thing as a Republican push poll. There's only Democrat push polls and then actual polls, trustable polls. You know, there's left-wing pollsters that are wildly inaccurate almost every election season, and then there's a select few polls.
Amazon hates this, but there's nothing they can do to stop it. There's a new electric lighter out there, and it's got the firepower of a military-grade flamethrower. It's already been banned from home
that have been getting it right, or at least have been kind of closer than what the NBC Morning Consults and Yahoo/YouGov polls of the world continue suggesting each election cycle. Oh, it's a Republican, it's an internal poll, it doesn't count. It's almost as if these people forgot about 2016. What happened in 2016? You had all the polls showing Hillary Clinton winning. There was supposedly a 99% chance that Hillary Clinton was going to win the election. Then there was insider advantage, Rasmussen, Trafalgar, I think TIPP if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong in some of these pollsters, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. You had those pollsters and then Trump internal polls showing that Trump was on track to win. You know, everyone kept saying that Trump is crazy. You guys remember that? When he kept saying, look, we got internal polls showing that I'm competing in all of these swing states. I don't know what polls you guys are talking about. And then what ended up happening on election day? Exactly. The Trump internals were right. Dismiss these polls at your own peril, leftoids. But personally, I think they're more accurate than probably the averages that we're seeing. And funny thing is, even if you look at the averages, Trump is still on pace to win. I think he's roughly on pace to win 282 votes, electoral votes, if the averages are right. And if his internals are right, he's on pace to win 312. Even CNN seems to be mentioning that scenario.
I don't really give a hoot about the national polling. It could tell us about trends, but not much more. Look, these are the battleground states, right? These are the 7 we've been looking at. We got 4 weeks to go until the election. Look, the Great Lake battleground states, as close as they've been. Harris by a point in Pennsylvania, 2 in Michigan, 2 in Wisconsin. Way too close to call. You come over to the right side of the screen with me. Sunbelt battleground states. You see more red on this side of the screen than blue. We do see Harris up by a point in Nevada. Again, way too close to call. Trump by a point in North Carolina, Georgia, 2 in Arizona. This has been the consistent story since Kamala Harris got into the race, right? That is that she has done better in those Great Lake battleground states. She has closed the gap in the Sunbelt battleground states, but still friendlier terrain for Trump than those Great Lake battlegrounds. If the polls are exactly right, Kamala Harris gets...
I'm sorry, guys. I don't see her winning at all. I do not see her winning.
276 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 262 because she carries those Great Lake battleground states despite losing North Carolina, Georgia, and Arizona. But let's say we have a polling miss like we had in 2020. What happens then? Well, then Donald Trump wins the election in a blowout with 312 electoral votes because he carries all these Great Lake battleground states, plus Nevada, plus the other states he was leading in, Arizona, North Carolina, and Georgia.
It's not looking good, and what it feels like is complete campaign freefall for Kamala Harris. CNN seems to be openly having that conversation, and now even the far-left Guardian is admitting what I think we're all witnessing. This headline might be the most devastating, for the Democrats that is, of the entire election season. Kamala Harris' campaign's record $1 billion funds failed to translate into swing state advantage. That has got to be one of the most brutal headlines I think I've ever read. You know, they did something never seen before. The last minute bait and switch, the little switcheroo
What's
that
up,
they
chat?
did. They then launched this incredible media campaign and fundraising apparatus. I mean, what they did for Kamala Harris ahead of the DNC was truly unprecedented. It's never happened before. We're talking about billions of dollars in campaign contribution, not just the $1 billion that supposedly came from grassroots donations. No, I'm talking about the other type of donations, media companies working on her behalf, all the celebrities, just the whole media apparatus that went into total Kamala hype mode. I mean, all of that. Then, of course, the money they generated, the constant Kamala Harris ads. I mean, they mobilized so much money that the moment Kamala Harris joined the race and started collecting all of these funds, every YouTuber on the platform all of a sudden is making 20% more. I'll tell you that is exactly what's happening. Every time you turn on the TV, it's a Kamala Harris ad. They spent so much money to try to get this done. And the result was Kamala Harris is now worse off than she was after the initial announcement that she was replacing Joe Biden.
They're going to learn one
That
day,
is
chat.
disastrous. And I think what really happened here was a kind of, narrative versus reality event. The narrative was that Kamala Harris was the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? But then reality started to kick in. People started to get to know Kamala Harris, and she's obviously one of the least likable politicians in the entire game. I mean, she gives Hillary Clinton a run for her money, I'd say. In fact, I might even argue that she's worse than Hillary Clinton. I think a lot of numbers
Yeah.
would suggest that. And so people got to know
I don't know, man. Hillary Clinton's pretty freaking evil. What do you guys think? I don't know if I can agree with that one.
her, and the rest is history. No matter how much money you spend, if your candidate sucks, it's game over. I mean, this might be a little bit weird, but I think this Andrew Yang tweet kind of exemplifies what I'm talking about. Andrew Yang just wrote yesterday, "I get the frustration. I just don't think that Trump is the answer." Andrew Yang's a Democrat shill, and even he's admitting that he gets the frustration. They know it. They understand what's going on. They understand that nobody likes Kamala Harris and that everything is falling apart. She is getting absolutely cooked. She got cooked on 60 Minutes so bad that 60 Minutes had to make a bunch of edits. She's getting totally cooked all over social media and all the podcast appearances and stuff that she's doing. The only way to describe it is Kamala is getting ratioed into oblivion. And then on top of it, this whole Biden and DeSantis situation. I mean, DeSantis is straight up cooking her.
Hey, Governor, could you just help clear something else up that happened earlier this week? And we were actually debating it at this table, so I got to ask. There was some praise that came your way from President Biden and said that you had spoken. Then there was this brouhaha over Vice President Harris apparently reaching out to you and maybe not taking the call, and this whole thing, accusations that this had all become politicized. Can you just speak to what happened there?
I am working with the President of the United States. I'm working with the Director of FEMA. I'm marshaling all my state assets. We've been doing this now nonstop for over 2 weeks between Helene and this. And so if there's anything I can leverage to benefit my people, I'm going to do it. The fact of the matter is they put out a story saying I didn't even know she was trying to reach me, but she has no role in this process. And I've been dealing with these storms in Florida under both Trump and Biden. Neither of them ever politicized it. And in fact, all the storms I've dealt with under this administration, although I've worked well with the president, she has never called in Florida. She has never offered any support. So what she's doing is she's trying to inject herself into this because of her political campaign. So as the governor here who's leading this, I don't have time for those games. I don't care about her campaign. Obviously, I'm not a supporter of hers, but she has no role in this process. And so I'm working with the people I need to be working with. We're leveraging the resources I need to be leveraging. And for her to try to say that my focus should be on catering to her rather than worrying about my own people just shows she doesn't understand what it means to respond to these natural disasters.
Exactly.
It's so bad that I just randomly got a call from one of my family friends not too long ago, specifically about this topic. People clearly see Kamala Harris's actions as non-genuine, as politically motivated as she attempts to insert herself in hurricane response efforts.
Oh, you guys want to see something funny? I'll show you some funny shit that I seen earlier. Hold on.
The Floridians decided.
Here it is. Okay, so. Watch this.
James from Cali. What's up, James?
Hey, I've been hearing this. I just wanted to see if you knew for sure. Did 29-year-old Kamala Harris sleep with 60-year-old Willie Brown? And did he start her career?
Why are you coochie faxing a 59-year-old woman? Who did you sleep with 30 years ago? And did they start your career?
Can you fact check that?
No, I asked you a question. Who were you sleeping with 30 years ago? Do you know who you slept with 30 years ago?
Well, I'm not a politician, so I'm not running for president.
But you asking about somebody's coochie. So let's run your dick facts. Who did you sleep with 30 years ago? Why is that even... Since it's your business who she slept with, then that's our business now. Since you done called into a international radio show, who did you sleep with 30 years ago? Do you remember?
You a hoe I ain't voting for.
You a hoe I ain't vote for.
And you a clown. You a stupid, goofy ass clown.
I gotta record that.
You should be fucking embarrassed.
I'm recording that. Hey, I recorded that.
Running a 30-year-old coochie fax.
You guys watch. I'm gonna turn that into a sound bit. Watch this. So let's minus this down for a second. Here's what we're gonna do. Let's turn this into a sound bit. Let's minus this. Open this. Get this back open. Videos. He said, she a hoe I ain't vote for.
She has no role in this process, and so
all I got to do is this. Watch. It's not really not that hard. Bam. Take this.
Voting for.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember? Remember?
Yeah, hoe I ain't voting for.
Remember?
Yeah, hoe I ain't voting for.
Remember?
Yeah, hoe I ain't voting for. Yeah, hoe I ain't voting for.
Oh, wow. That's so good. That's so good. And watch. Here's all I got to do. Right? So listen.
Yeah, hoe I ain't voting for.
Bam. Did that, right? Then I go to this. I go to my VLC media player. Yeah, she a hoe I ain't voting for her. Media. Convert. Add. Dude, it's been a while since I did this. All right, here we go. Save. Browse. MP3. Start. Wow. Now look. Huh? Did it not work? Dude, did I do it wrong? Has been a little while, so let's see.
Yeah, hoe I ain't voting for.
Oh, I did it right. Let's go. So now all I got to do is this. Go to my Stream Deck. Put it right here. Yeah. Now watch this, Tyler.
Yeah, hoe I ain't voting for. Yeah, hoe I ain't voting for.
And then actually take it and move it. Actually, yeah, I'll move it here. With the sounds. Oh wait, no. Oh yeah, that's right. I had to actually put it in the folder itself.
Yeah, hoe I ain't voting for.
I like it.
Yeah, hoe I ain't voting for.
All right. So now, what do you guys think, chat? Seriously, how do you guys think this election's gonna go? Because in all honesty, I could see this being like some Reagan type shit, bro. And he took every state but one, I believe. Trump was in Colorado today. Look at this. Trump announces he will invoke the Aliens Enemies Act of 1798.
And if it ain't you, we gonna
Dude,
know.
it's what it feels like to me, but you know,
We gonna
hey.
know.
I mean, I can't stand that paper. I can't stand them. You know what you do with the Times? When you read a story, just think the opposite. They're the enemy of the people. They really. New York Times is the enemy. Washington Post is the enemy of the people too. I don't understand it. Why? And then they lose credibility. Eventually, they go out of business. I call it the failing New York Times.
It's true.
But even as the New York Times recently reported, the TDA Venezuelan prison gang has, quote, sneaked into the United States among the millions of migrants who have crossed the border and is peddling drugs, guns, and women all across the 50 states, from the urban centers like New York and Chicago to Florida beaches to the once tranquil middle America. It was once tranquil. You were once tranquil. In Colorado, the gang even got a green light to shoot police officers. Did you know that the gang got the okay to kill your police? You know that, right? By the way, that's the New York Times. That's not me. That's the New York Times saying that. They got the green light to kill your police. Just days ago, it was an amazing day. I was in a small town, Prairie du Chien, in Wisconsin.
Everybody, if you have
leading Wisconsin
please make sure to hit that like for me. It really does help out a lot.
by 4.5 points, too. Right. They have a similar problem. You know, almost all states have this. You know, just so we set it straight, Aurora's got a lot of publicity, but you have states that have a bigger problem than Aurora. You have that people aren't talking about. A lot of the people that run the states, they don't want to talk about it. They want to try and solve it, but they can't because they're not tough enough. You need very tough people like ICE, like military. You need very tough people to solve it.
Also, Tyler, let me ask you a question. Do you think I should continue to do my streaming like this? Or do you think I should start doing the vertical streaming with my political page too? Because I'm trying to kind of conflicted with it right now. I'm not too sure how I want to do it.
They can't. You know, you'll have a sheriff with 1 or 2 men, and you'll have 25 migrants with weaponry that they haven't even seen in some cases. No, you need help, but they don't want to talk about it because the public relations is so bad for the town or the little city that they run, or the big city. Look at Chicago.
Okay.
Look at New York. Look at Los Angeles.
Do you watch on your phone or do you watch on like your Xbox?
This is what's happening to it in Wisconsin.
You like that? You think this way's a little bit better? I just wish I. It seems like I get more reach in the vertical ways on your phone. It seems like I just get more reach while I'm like gaming, at least. Maybe not on this channel. I'm not too sure yet. I need to definitely start streaming a little bit more and start doing a little more. I got to start doing more content on this one.
An illegal alien member of this ruthless gang was arrested for holding a mother and a daughter captive against their will and sexually assaulting them again and again and
Fucking
again.
pathetic.
In Houston in June, 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungari was kidnapped, tied up, and assaulted for 2 hours under the bridge before she was murdered by 2 Venezuelan TDAs, these gang members who Kamala Harris had ordered and let into the United States, totally unvetted. Nobody knew who they were, totally unvetted. Come on in, you just come on in. In New York City, another gang member recently shot 2 New York City police officers, hitting one in the chest and the other in the leg. They were really, really badly hurt, probably going to make it. And just last week, police arrested over a dozen members of TDA, the Venezuelan gang, who had taken over yet another apartment complex in San Antonio. They're like in the real estate business, like I used to be. They take over a lot of real estate, but they do it by gunpoint. I had to go borrow money.
Oh my God, this dude is the
This
fucking
is a wonderful
goat.
deal. Would you like to? But they just walk in with guns and take it over. It's much quicker. It's a horrible.
I'm going to make a short on that.
Terrorized its residents to a level that they've never seen before. San Antonio police very aptly named their law enforcement effort Operation Aurora because Aurora was the one that was first and got all that publicity. Operation Aurora. In honor of Jocelyn Nungari, Laken Riley, beautiful Laken,
He's the
Rachel
goat, bro.
Lauren, and all of the others that are dead and or mortally wounded at the hands of migrants who should never have been allowed into our country. I'm announcing today that upon taking office, we will have an Operation Aurora at the federal level.
I love it.
Expedite the removals of these savage gangs.
Get him out of
And I will
here.
invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798.
Yeah, Mike. Yes, Queen.
1798. This was put there. 1798. That's a long time ago, right? To target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil.
What are you up to, brother?
Who would have ever thought that a president or a future president would ever have to stand here and say such things? Who would think that that's even possible to have to do? So many things are changed in the last 4 years. But that's the state of our country now after Kamala
Oh,
and Joe Biden have
nice.
just
I just ate
absolutely
Chinese food.
destroyed our country.
I think I'm done with
We're
all
a
this shit,
country
dude.
in
I gotta start eating
tremendous
healthy again.
distress. We're a failing country. We're left
What
out
kind?
all over the
What kind of pizza did you guys get?
world. We will send elite.
Oh, Geppetto's is fire, but you know what you gotta do? You gotta make sure they make that shit well done. And if not, put that shit in the air fryer as soon as you get it for like 5 minutes.
Squads of ICE, Border Patrol, and federal law enforcement officers to hunt down, arrest, and deport every last illegal
Oh yeah.
alien gang
I love
member until there
Geppetto's.
is
Their
not a
wings are so
single
good.
one left.
Well, they
in
used
this
to
country.
be. I don't like those. I don't like big ass wings. I like small, regular sized wings. I feel like them big ass wings are like fucking the extra crispy, dude. It's so good. So I feel like the wings are way too big, and I feel like those are all like fucking uh what is it, HGH, growth hormone. Yeah, I feel like those are all like HGH wings and shit, dude. I don't like it at all. I stopped ordering them, bro. I go to Papa Primo's now, Mike. Dude, their wings are so good now.
And if they come back into our country, they will be told it is an automatic 10-year sentence in jail with no possibility of parole. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer.
It's so good, Mike. Dude, listen. You guys just got here. You guys got to hear this, bro. This dude, Trump is the fucking goat, bro.
Almost all states have problem like ICE, weaponry that an illegal alien member of assaulting them.
Hold on.
Jocelyn, come on in New York City, another gang. It's totally unvetted.
Where was it?
Police arrested. Would you
Come
like
on.
to? But they just walk in with guns and take real
Oh, here.
estate. But they
Listen to this. Listen, bro. This shit is fucking hilarious.
members of TDA, over a dozen members of TDA,
I'm just gonna shut
the
up.
Venezuelan gang, who are taking over yet another apartment complex in San Antonio. They're like in the real estate business, like I used to be. Right? They take over a lot of real estate, but they do it by gunpoint. I had to go borrow money. I had to see the banks. This is a wonderful deal. Would you like to? But they just walk in with guns and take it over. It's much quicker. It's a horrible in San Antonio and terrorized its residents to a level that they've never seen before. San Antonio police very aptly named their law enforcement effort Operation Aurora because Aurora was the one that was first and got all that publicity. Operation Aurora. In honor of Jocelyn.
So funny, Mike.
Nungari, Lakin, Riley, beautiful Lakin, Rachel, Morin, and all of the others that are dead and or mortally wounded.
Trump is
at the
that
hands
guy.
of migrants who should never have been allowed into our country. I'm announcing today that upon taking office, we will have an
Hold on.
Operation Aurora at the federal level.
Dude, legit, you think Trump loses a step with his taunting and his goofing around? Bro, that was one of the funniest things I've heard him say ever, bro. That was fucking hilarious.
To expedite the removals of these savage gangs, and I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act
He
of
is the greatest.
1798. Think of that. 1798. This was put there. 1798. That's a long time ago, right?
Oh, I've seen that.
Dismantle
Fuck
every
him.
migrant criminal
Piece of
network
shit.
operating on American soil. Who would have ever thought that a president or a future president would ever have to stand here and say such things? Who would think that that's even possible to have to do? So many things are changed in the last 4 years, but that's the state of our country now after Kamala and Joe Biden have just absolutely destroyed our country. We're a country in tremendous distress. We're a failing country. We're laughed at all over the world. We will send elite squads of ICE, Border Patrol, and federal law enforcement officers to hunt down, arrest, and deport every last illegal alien gang member until there is not a single one left in this country. And if they come back into our country, they will be told it is an automatic 10-year sentence in jail with no possibility of parole. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or
Yeah.
enforcement officer.
Yeah. Yeah. America.
With your vote, we will achieve complete and total victory over these sadistic monsters. It's going to go very quickly. Remember our local police? They're great. I know them so
You can
well. They've been
walk in, get a
restricted from
phone, food stamp,
operating. They're great. They know everything about every one of them. They say, oh, how will you have a...
And you have to pay that shit back, Mike. Ain't that some shit?
Find them. The local police know everyone. They know their middle names. They know their serial numbers, where they live. No, and they want to do their job. They're done. You have no idea how many police officers say, sir, we're going to indemnify
It's sad,
them
bro. They hate us.
against any prosecutions because they get
People are
prosecuted if they do their work.
Hey, they're sick of it though. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying though. It's those you could tell people are really getting sick of this shit, Josh.
Going to pass that. It'll pass so fast. If they do their job, they get prosecuted by their own people. They get sued by the people that won't take care of the criminals.
Really?
Some of the
That's
DAs
crazy.
that won't do the
Fuck
think of
AI.
it. And AGs, they won't go after the criminal, but they'll go after our police officers if they do the job. We will take back our suburbs. We'll take back our cities and towns, and we will take back our country, and we will do it very, very quickly. What Kamala Harris...
So you think you know Wicks, but do you really?
Dude, he's in Reno, Nevada.
And we owe that to
so
you.
much.
What they've done
Guys,
to this
bro, it's
country,
gonna
but
fucking
you know, I
kill
keep
us.
saying still the most important, the border. I mean, we can talk
too.
about inflation and it's horrible. We can talk about it, but they let 21 million people in here, and many of those people, murderers, drug dealers.
I didn't know he was
members,
live right now.
People from mental institutions. To me, you know, I watch. They say that is the border and immigration. I sort of think it's maybe the other way around. Wait, we do a free poll. Ready? Which is bigger? Ready? I'll go border first. Border and immigration? Pretty big. Or the economy and inflation. I've been saying that. You know, in 2016, I won because of the border, and I made it so good. It was so good within 2 months, we had the best border. And that was it. And then I could never talk about it. My people said, sir, they don't want to hear it. You fixed it. But the problem is this border is 20 times worse. What they've done here is crazy. They either hate the country or something's going on. My message to every service
dude, that's
worker
fucking
in
crazy.
Las Vegas and Reno is that
But I guess Dr. Phil ended up delivering a bunch of shit there I seen. So that's pretty cool. And he delivered a bunch of Starlinks for Elon. So I just think they don't like Elon. You know what I mean? Like, because he's such a big Trump guy right now. So it is what it is. But it still was able to be delivered, at least through Dr. Phil.
this. If you vote for me, inflation will end, your taxes will be cut massively, your wages will skyrocket, your savings and pensions will soar, and your retirement will be more
It's sad, bro. It's
You're
weird.
going to be so much more prosperous. You're going to be more secure. You're going to be safer. You're going to have a much better life. Just vote for me. Let's get it over with, okay? Much better life. Much better life. Under Kamala, it will be massive inflation, massive layoffs, massive tax hikes, and massive misery and depression. Depression. Kamala Harris will kill the American dream. That's what
Kill
she's
that.
doing. And for your children, they don't have a dream with these people. These people, look, she's a Marxist. A lot of people don't know what a Marxist is. So let's put it simply, she's a communist. We're not going to have a communist leading our country. She's a communist. She's also known as the taxing queen. She loves taxes. This is the first time I've ever seen, I've been doing this stuff a long time, only for a short time on this side, but I became president. But I've been doing it for a long time on the other side, writing checks and so I can contribute to guys like Senator John Cornyn of Texas and all. But I've never seen ever, all these great politicians are over here, where somebody's campaigning on massive tax hikes. She's campaigning, we will raise your taxes. And people, some people, they're not the smartest people, but they go, oh, thank you very much. I've never seen it. I've always heard politicians say, we will cut your taxes. Sometimes they don't mean it, but they say it. But these people openly say that they're going to raise your taxes. Well, and let's give her credit for one thing. It's probably the only thing she's honest about. She's going to raise your taxes at levels never seen before, and she's going to drive out all the jobs in the country that I created. Her plan will raise taxes for the typical American family by at least $3,000 a year. Watch this tax video. You have to watch this.
Joe Biden and I are about to get rid of that tax bill.
Calling for a full repeal of President Trump's tax cuts. If Kamala Harris was elected president, there are many different tax policies which could cripple the economy. But the first thing she wants to do is allow these Trump tax cuts to expire.
Even the New York Times admits that 85% of the middle class got a tax cut.
Americans will face a hike. The Tax Foundation finding that a couple with 2 kids making $165,000 a year would have to pay over $2,400 more in taxes.
And on day one, I will repeal that tax bill. Joe Biden and I are about to work to get rid of that tax cut. Joe and I are about to get rid of that tax bill. Joe Biden and I are about to get rid of that tax cut.
Everything from a 70 to 80% tax rate.
I think that's fantastic. We've got to increase the corporate tax rate. Part of that is going to be about repealing that tax bill that they just passed. And also looking at estate taxes are going to have to go up. We will tax capital gains, but we're going to have to raise corporate taxes.
Taxing unrealized gains just doesn't seem fair in any sense of the word.
When the value of your home goes up, you pay higher taxes even if you don't sell your home.
Your value of your home never moves the way the stock moves to say, we're going to tax what you don't have. That's a sore point, and it's a big deal. Is that something you think she firmly believes in?
I think it's part of the proposals of the campaign.
Under my plan, there will also be a carbon fee. There has to be some connection between the fee and bad behaviors, and there has to be, in that we have to monitor whether it's going to be passed on to consumers. But I'm going to tell you that would be the reason not to actually put a fee, and in particular, a carbon fee.
Kamala Harris is going to significantly raise taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up.
Kamala's plan will raise families' taxes by nearly $2,600 a year. Under Kamala, prices have already soared. She'd make it
it's
worse
crazy, Josh.
with even higher
What up, Vaughn?
Taxes are going to have to go
Papa
up.
Bill. I may or may not be Monica Lewinsky's son.
President Trump will cut taxes again. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
So she's looking to increase your taxes, the biggest economic disaster it will be in American history. I will deliver, and I'll tell you what, we're gonna show you some things pretty soon that are gonna be amazing. What we've done compared to what they've done, we've had the most successful presidency ever.
What's that, Josh?
They had a disaster. They've had a disaster. The biggest inflation ever. We talk about the senior citizens. The only reason I did that for the senior citizens is they've been devastated. It's been taken away from them. Everything's been taken away because of their inflation. So I'll deliver the biggest economic boom in American history. It's going to be the biggest. Take a quick look. You see what that says? But let's get back to business, because who the hell cares what it says? Look at that.
Okay.
I love the unrealized capital gain. In other words, It's an unrealized gain, but they're going to tax that anyway. That's a beauty. That'll be the first in, that'll be the first in history.
That's still double the amount.
We had a great day in Detroit.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Hold on. Here's the thing, Josh. Yeah, it's still double. But it's more than double because they cut it in half from what it was only within like the past 6 months. So it's only been cut in half for the past 6 months. Other than that, the rest of the time, it's 4 times the amount. So it's more closer to 3.5. Like, way to try and use verbal judo. Dude, she's a fucking idiot. Bro, Josh, listen to my new soundbite. You ready?
You a hoe I ain't voting for. You a hoe I ain't voting for. You a hoe I ain't voting for.
Announced we're bringing the car industry back at levels never seen before. And we're going to make interest on car loans fully tax deductible because affording a car is essential to restoring the American dream. We're going to restore the American dream to bring jobs and factories and wealth racing back to the United States. We will have a 15% made in America corporate tax rate. Cutting the tax from 21 to 15, but only for those who make their product. Remember this. I'm the one that got it down from almost 40% to 21. Everyone said that was impossible. That led to a job boom, the biggest boom we've ever had in this country, and the numbers were great. Now, but it was better than competitive. It was good, but it wasn't the best. Now I'm bringing it down to 15, but only if you manufacture, if you make your product in the U.S. How good is that? Right, Michael?
That's crazy.
You have to make it here. You know, I had one of the top Wall Street guys call me. They said, who the hell gave you that idea? How simple is that?
How much have we gave to Ukraine?
If you make your product here, you get a lower tax. You don't hear it. It seems so simple, like the paperclip. Some guy made the paperclip a long time ago, and everybody looked and said, why the hell didn't I think of that, right? And for those who don't make their product in America, they'll be forced to pay a stiff tariff for the privilege of competing with our cherished companies that we are going to protect because they're stealing our jobs, our treasure, our wealth, and we will take in hundreds of billions of dollars to benefit American citizens and pay. We are going to pay off debt. We're going to reduce your taxes still further. As an individual, we're going to reduce them, and we will be at a level of prosperity. It's called growth that we haven't seen in 60 years. You're going to have a 1929 style depression. And remember, you know the hat, it says Trump was right about everything. I really was right about it. I was right about everything.
He was.
You're going to have a 1929 style, not recession, depression. My pro-American trade policies are one of the major reasons why I've been overwhelmingly endorsed by the rank-and-file membership of the Teamsters, including 60% of the Teamster members in Nevada. Can you believe that, huh? Where are the Teamsters? Do we have any Teamsters? Are you guys? Where are the Teamsters? Thank you. They're good people. Traditionally, they go Democrat, but we got all over the nation, they endorse Trump, along with the police, along with the firefighters, along with everybody. Along with anybody that's sane. We got, don't forget, we're the party of common sense. We really are. You need a wall. You need good elections. You need a fair press. You need a lot of good things. You need a lot of good things, and we're going to have very good things. And you don't need criminals coming into your country either, by the way. So as we rebuild our economy, we will also restore our borders, and I've just come from Aurora. I just left Aurora.
Yo, what's up, Kalisha? So it's Josh. It's 70.
The person that was in charge of your border, we call her border czar, Kamala. She doesn't know she's alive. I'm telling you, she is so bad. Did you see 60 Minutes? So I've done 60 Minutes many times. I even had the great Mike Wallace, who was actually a great one. Mike Wallace, the toughest of them all. He gave me a great one. But she was interviewed. Her answers were so bad that they put other answers in. They don't do that for me. We're just the opposite. Her answers, they take it away and put new answers in. My answers, they just cut them up So then instead of 4 sentences that are perfect, it's one sentence that proceeds back, and all of a sudden, I used to say to him, why did you cut the hell out of my paragraph? You know, I do the weave, right? Always a weave, right? And always end up in the right location. But I said, why did you do that, 60 Minutes? And remember, I had with Leslie Saul a big fight. Because she said, the laptop from hell came from Russia. And I said, Leslie, it came from the bedroom of Hunter Biden. It didn't come. And then it proved to be right, and I'm still waiting for them to apologize. But I'll tell you, what they did with her, I believe is the biggest scandal in broadcast history. I do. If it were me right now, I probably wouldn't be allowed to speak.
Yeah.
It's like, sir, would you come this way, please?
Are you really going to get one, Mike?
When you think about it, I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone, right? He was a killer. If he didn't like you, he would immediately kill you. I've had more investigations. These are corrupt people that we're dealing with. But what happens is this. What CBS did and 60 Minutes did.
Which one are you guys getting?
Her answers were terrible.
Yeah, they're nice.
And I say it very respectfully. She's not a smart
Did you
person.
see the bust that he made, you guys?
And we've had 4 years of that. And we can't have another 4 years. Because Russia and China and everybody, they're eating our lunch. We can't have another 4 years. So I don't get it. I don't get it. And
are you the one that sent me that, Josh?
We're leading, so we're leading, but we have to make it too big to rig, right? Too big to rig. We're leading by some pretty good margins.
Probably. Somebody
Michigan,
did.
We're leading. The car industry. Those auto workers love Trump because, you know, we'll be ending that electric mandate very quickly. And we love electric cars. But, you know, we want them for some people and some people not. We want gasoline propelled. We want hybrids, which are good. The only one we don't want, you know the one we don't want? There's a certain car, hydrogen car. They have a new car.
Kamala.
It doesn't go bad.
Kamala.
It's quite efficient. But when it blows up, you're unrecognizable.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Is that my husband on the tree? Let me take a look. I can't tell. I can't tell. No, I don't want that one. I'm not going to do that one. They say they think they can fix it. The word think is not acceptable. We think we can. So we'll forget about hydrogen, right? But we have a lot of alternatives. And, you know, we got the endorsement of Elon Musk. You know that, right?
Oh, really?
And he said it's...
What color do you want to get?
Absolutely imperative we're going to save our country.
Did you see the one Aiden Ross made Trump?
And he makes some great things. He helped us so much with North Carolina and Georgia. He said to Starlink, and they had no communication whatsoever in some area. And they said, sir, do you know Elon Musk? I said, I do. Do you think you could get a Starlink? I said, what the hell is that? Explain to me. Essentially, it's unbelievable form of communication.
Internet.
So I called up Elon. Hard to get because it's very successful. I called him up. I said, you know, North Carolina in particular is in big trouble. It's almost been cut off from the mainland.
I bought my truck used. My truck only had 16,000 miles on it, though.
And the government's done very little. The federal government's done nothing. She's done nothing. She was
very sweet.
like she's doing interviews on these stupid shows, and she's got to get there because they really have problems. But he said, well, I'll tell you. And we talked for about a second, and then I get a message from the people in North Carolina. We want to thank you that the Starlink will be coming soon. I said, Elon, how did you do that? We're talking. You agreed to do it, and now I get a call before we hang up that they expect it to be delivered. Nah, he's a great guy.
Okay.
Saved a lot of lives. He saved a lot of lives in North Carolina. He helped
everybody,
the governor of Georgia.
if you guys haven't yet,
Georgia
please make sure to hit that
governor's
like
doing a
for me.
good job, but they helped the governor of Georgia with the Starlink a lot. And he was there. I'll tell you, he was there, so he's good. He's our friend, right? Right? Kamala Harris has imported a savage Venezuelan prison gang. Other than that, they're fine people. Known as Tren de Aragua. Did you ever hear them? Tren de Aragua. But don't smile, because they'll knock that smile off your face. They're not nice people. That has taken over an entire apartment complex. You know, they are like me. They're in the real estate business. The difference is I do it with financing. They do it with weapons.
He said it again. Yes. Yes.
And is terrorizing the residents at a level never seen. They literally walk in
2018 Explorer.
They took over complexes, and they have a radical left governor who's petrified. He doesn't want anything to do with it. He's afraid. He's chicken shit, okay? He's afraid.
That's great.
They're breaking down doors. They're collecting the rent. Isn't it nice? They just come over from Venezuela. They are collecting the rent. Do you think and you know what the landlord said? Whatever you'd like, sir. You'd like to collect my rent, whatever you want. No, they are actually going around collecting the rent from now on. Let me tell you, if I were president now, those guys would be out of here before you left this room. Send them back. We're sending them back. But they're shooting people. They're smashing jaws, breaking skulls. Watch this video. You're not going to believe it.
What's that, Steven? Don't you have a
deadly consequences.
You have a Chevy, right?
Crisis. Record high crossings are putting a strain on cities across America. It is a
full-blown invasion. Armed Venezuelan gang members storming an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado.
When people talk about MAGA crime, this is what they're talking about. Biden and Harris.
Before that, I had a 2014
bring them in
Explorer. I traded it in and
we're not going to treat people
put money down.
who are undocumented across the border as criminals.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Abolish ICE.
Yeah.
Oh, a Dodge Ram. I was going to say a Dodge. I was going to say a Dodge, if not a Chevy.
Accused of plotting an election day terrorist.
How you like
the
it?
Suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
More than a dozen people suspected of being Tren de Aragua gang members right here in San Antonio.
The gang members had been terrorizing the
Wow,
apartment
that's
complex.
wild.
New details in the murder of Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national.
And was paroled and released into the country by the Biden administration.
Two men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder and the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
Court documents suggest a group of men arrested for
That's
beating
crazy.
and robbing a Dallas woman last month are members of a Venezuelan street gang.
Manuel
Bro, that's
Hernandez
wild.
Hernandez was booked by Colleyville police just 2 days earlier and released the day before the robbery.
These are our new citizens. These are the new people. These are the people that we have coming into our country, and we're now known as, and all throughout the world, as an occupied country. We're an occupied country. Can you believe?
The Ram Rebel. I didn't see
They
that.
have a lot of people.
Is
If you
that like
think
a
about it,
special
21
edition
million,
one?
Not including the gotaways. You know what a gotaway is? Those are the people that just run and nobody knows who the hell they are. But we have 21. Think of this: 21 million people. 13,000 murderers, to be exact, 13,099 murderers. The biggest drug lords in the world. They got them all out of Caracas, Venezuela. Do you know that Venezuelan crime went down 72%? Because they put all their criminals into the good old USA. We're not going to stand for it. We're an occupied state that refuses to let our great law enforcement professionals do the job that they so dearly want to do. You know, the law enforcement wants to do the job. They really want to do the job, and they're not allowed to do the job. They want to do it so badly. They're so good, but they don't want to lose their pension. They don't want to be fired and lose everything, lose their family, lose their house. But to everyone here in Nevada and all across our nation, I make this vow to you. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America.
Yeah, yeah. These other countries paying the cartel to take their crap. Seriously, I can too, Mike, 1,000%. Okay.
My teleprompter people doing a great job. Thank God I don't use teleprompters too much. These people.
You're
They do a
fired.
great job. No, I said I look at the teleprompter's totally gone. I say, what the hell happened? The sign fell on top of it. But I can level with you. Did you see her? Now here's the good thing. Isn't it nice to have a guy that doesn't need a teleprompter? Isn't it nice? A president, a potential president that doesn't need a teleprompter. When you use it gets very boring when you use one. But how about her? There was 32 days left, and her teleprompter. You know, teleprompter goes bad a lot. If you rely on a teleprompter, in other words, if you're like Biden, where he couldn't function without he couldn't function with a teleprompter. But if you need a teleprompter, like to do like she did, it was just announced. Did you see the picture? She did a town hall using a teleprompter. You can't do that. No, think of it. You're walking around. There's no teleprompter. She's reading a teleprompter. It's following. Oh, it's terrible. You can't have her as your president. You can't have her as your president. But did you see where she was 32, right? It was 32 days. So she's going, and I'm watching her. I said, what the hell's wrong with her? She goes, 32, and the teleprompter went on. She meant 32 days till the election. So she goes, 32.
Right, exactly.
32.
Why aren't they helping us right now?
32, 32.
32, 32.
I said, what the hell is wrong with her? I called the First Lady. I said, First Lady, what the hell is wrong with her? 32. And then, thank goodness for her, the teleprompter kicked back in. But usually it doesn't kick back in. Usually it doesn't. It's, you got to be out there. I would say 5% of the time, if you want to do this professionally, like if you want to run for president someday, no matter how good you run, because I have a guy, Gabe, he's excellent. I've had some real bad ones, but I have Gabe. Some of the bad ones, they go so fast. I will go and pop, 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 pop. I say, slow the damn down. No, a good one is really like gold, right? But I don't use them that much because I find it's very boring. The concept I use, but I don't like it. But if you want to run for president, you have to assume that 5% of the time, even if you have good people, you're not going to have a teleprompter. For instance, when you do outdoors, I was with Bernie Moreno. He's doing very well for the Senate, and I think he's going to win in Ohio. He's got a chance, and I'm way up. And I went out, and I didn't want to do it because I said the weather's too bad, but that's okay. I did it. We had 45-mile-an-hour winds. This is in Ohio. That's like, I thought we were in Scotland, actually. And I
want to clip that part.
They're bending. They're going over.
32.
And that didn't matter because within about 2 minutes, they blew off the stage. They actually blew away. And we had 50,000 people. I'm standing there like this. I didn't have any notes, nothing. And you know what?
I love him, bro. He's a goat.
Thank you very much, President Trump. And other than a few people that saw the things flying away, they flew away beautifully. Nobody even knew. So anyway, no, there's something wrong with her. When you can't get up and make a speech like normally, like with all the work we do, you think you could for 40 minutes. Well, she makes very short speeches, too. Do you ever notice they're like 10 minutes? It's, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you. My name is Kamala. And she'll speak like so routinely. So, and
why did he say it like that?
Salad, the words. I don't like the sound of it, but it's sort of true. She just just words put together.
I'm dead.
Anything. How the hell can we have a person like this to be our president? It's crazy.
That is so
But I will
hilarious.
round up the illegal alien gang members, and they will be put in jail or thrown out of our country until not a single one is left. And we're going to call it Operation Aurora, if you don't mind, okay?
I don't know, Mike.
And this is happening all over the country, by the way. If they come back, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole.
Yes, sir.
Because we don't want them to come back. They got to stay out. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer.
Rob Trump is wild.
Thank you very much. No, we have to do that. We have to do it. They're violent people. These are violent. Remember when Kamala said, people that come into our country are far less likely to commit a crime? Really? The fact is, they make our criminals look like very fine people. And that includes our murderers. They are very fine people. These people make us look like a bunch of babies, okay? And we're getting them the hell out of our country. They're destroying our country. They're ruining lives. We're getting them out. Kamala's open border policy will destroy Medicare and Social Security for seniors because they're stuffing them. They're putting them everywhere, but they're stuffing them in. She let in 21 million people and wants to make them all citizens. She wants to make them citizens because there's no way of telling they have no records, they have no anything. They let them in totally unvetted. Everyone's coming in, the murderers and whoever. She wants to have them come in and then they can loot, they can plunder, they can take everything that you've made in your life. They can destroy your lives, they can kill you, they can hurt you. She wants to make them all citizens. It's crazy. It's crazy. Remember, we're the party of common sense, and you know that doesn't work. A new study released this week found that if Kamala gets her way,
he's getting so I thought
Social Security,
he has not lost a step at all.
In other words, they'll be useless, they'll be worthless. You won't get your Social Security worth. She'll kill it, and she has no idea economically with finance. She has no idea what the hell she's talking about. They asked her a simple question. When they asked her the other question, that was a disaster because she said, "Yes, I'll change a lot of things from Biden," and then she gets in trouble because he hates her so much. And she, "What do you mean you change?" So now they're fighting. So she doesn't know what the hell's going on. He's angry. Her people want her to say she'll have nothing to do with Biden because he's a disaster. And then she wants to say that she's okay, but Biden doesn't want that. So they go back and forth. This poor woman doesn't know what the hell is happening. I will protect Medicare and Social Security with no cuts. We're going to have any cuts.
Done.
And we're not going to raise the age.
I'll be right back. I got to blow my nose.
My shit by 7 years on Social Security. We're going to have no cuts whatsoever, and we didn't have any. And there'll be no benefits for illegals, by the way. Already, Kamala is ransacking Medicare to pay for the Green New Scam. Do you know what the Green New Scam is? She actually wants $93 trillion. Think of this. That's bigger than our budget for like 100 years. 93. You know who made it up? AOC plus 3. We said, did you go to college on the environment? No. Do you have anything to do? This is AOC, right? Do you have anything to do with the environment? No. But I've decided that this is the way it is. All buildings in New York are going to be ripped down and new buildings are going to be built without windows. Because you see, a window is environmentally unfriendly, having to do with the heat, the gases, and the sunlight. The ideal building is tall, thin, with no windows whatsoever. It's a hard sell. If you can get somebody to buy it, you can sell anything. That's the only thing. Now, they have the craziest thing I've ever... But the total cost is $93 trillion. So if you add us, China, every other country in the world, and gave us about 40 years, we might be able... These people are crazy. They're destroying our country. They use it almost as a method of hurting us and hurting our country. And some countries laugh at it. You know, China laughs at it. Kerry goes over there on his private jet, lands, meets with President Xi. We don't want you to use coal anymore. Oh, okay, we'll work on that. We're going to start working. In the meantime, he's building a coal plant a week. Oh, we'll work on that. Kerry goes, he promised he'd work on it. He promised. What a fool. No, it's so embarrassing. You know, these people are very streetwise. They're brilliant people, and they're at the top of their game. We have a man that 30 years ago wasn't at the top of the game, and she's worse. I'm telling you, she's not as smart as Biden. Watch. And you see it now.
She's not.
And she's fading rapidly in the polls. The only reason she was okay is because nobody knew who the hell she was.
Now we know
They
who
said,
she
Harris,
is.
who the hell is that? Nobody knew who she was. And now
the
they're
truth.
learning that she's a communist. We're learning that all sorts of bad things about her. She's further left than Pocahontas. Do you know Pocahontas? Remember when they wanted me to apologize to Pocahontas? I said, I'll do it, because I destroyed her presidential campaign. She was leading for president, and then she said she was an Indian. Why are you an Indian? Because my mother told me I had high cheekbones. You can't get in trouble when you're telling the truth. That was her reason. And then when I heard that, I said, oh, let's call her Pocahontas. And because she didn't look like an Indian to me. But we drove her crazy. And then she fell for it. She went out and did a test, remember? And it came back 1,024th. In other words, somewhere in a million years, there may have been one guy there. And she was so happy. Remember? She was so happy that she released the finding. She thought it was good because maybe there was a tiny little chance. And then I said, well, I have more Indian blood
missed all of
than
it,
she
bro.
has, and I have
missed
none,
all of it.
unfortunately. I'd like to have some. No, I'd like to have some. I would be very honored. But I have none. But I think I have more than she has. And that was the end of her political career. She likes me very much, but Pocahontas. Because of the Medicare cuts, Kamala passed with her tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Creation Act. Did you ever hear of the... I changed the name. I take a little... Much less liberty than 60 Minutes takes, by the way. They would take the whole damn thing out and write it for her. No, it's called the Inflation Reduction Act, right? And I thought... He says, Portia, you're right. The Inflation Reduction Act, and I call it the Inflation Creation Act.
Inflation
So
creation.
it's not nearly as bad as 60 Minutes, right? 60 Minutes just took everything out. They say, listen, we put her on. She gave us this answer. If people hear this answer, she will immediately be thrown off. I mean, it's so bad. So why don't we just give her a new answer? So they took it out and gave her an entirely new answer. If I ever did that,
Oh, that's
or if that
hilarious.
were ever about like a Republican, it would be the biggest scandal in history. I think it's going to be anyway. 60 Minutes should be taken off the air for what they've done.
Yeah! Fuck 60 Minutes!
It should be taken off the air. And you know what else, John? They should lose their license, because that's not just a little bad stuff. You know, they have licenses. These networks, they're worth billions of dollars. But the one thing is, it says you have to be honest.
Yeah.
That's election interference. They're interfering with the election. Am I right? They should lose their license, and 60 Minutes should be taken off the air. Because of a vote,
Dude, this is hilarious,
560,000
Mike.
seniors are set to lose their Medicare Advantage plans. Did you know that? Oh, did I ruin your evening? No, it's going to happen in the next few weeks.
Did I
Because
ruin
of
your
her vote,
evening?
560,000 seniors will lose their plan. In other words, Kamala is shafting
Kamala.
fixed income seniors on Medicare to fund $7,500 tax credits for rich people to buy luxury electric cars. You know, we're subsidizing this whole crazy thing with again, I love electric cars, but you can't do this. You can't do this. They don't go far. Lots of little problems. They're made in China. We don't have the material. But you know what we do have? A lot of gasoline is down there. A lot of gasoline. I will stand up for our seniors, and I will save Medicare Advantage. So seniors, you must vote for Trump, or you're going to have a very unhappy rest of your life. But you got to get out and vote. You know, I learned the other day, I was saddened by it, because I have the endorsement of the NRA. I have all the, I have everybody endorsed me. So, but here I was saddened by this. Evangelicals, where I'm like at 90%, but they typically don't vote
Say
very
Trump
much. In other words,
2024.
they vote like 15, 20%. If the evangelicals would vote, we would win in a landslide. So evangelicals, you got a lot of them here. Please vote. The other ones, There are two groups, especially, meaning they vote very, very disproportionately low. The other group, you know who doesn't vote? Gun owners. Gun owners. They don't vote. This has been true for 50 years. I think it's a rebellious thing, okay? It's rebellion. They're having a rebellion. Gun owners, get out and vote. Evangelicals, get out and vote. Or you're going to have somebody in office that's going to destroy your country. You also need to defeat your disastrous radical Democrat Senator Jackie Rosen and elect a great patriot to defend your Washington values and your values in Reno. Although, I don't know, Reno, can I talk about great values in Reno? Yeah, I think I can. I'm not sure if everybody's going to believe that one, but I believe it. I know a lot of great people from Reno. We have values and all different values, and you have great values here. Jackie Rosen is a disaster. She votes virtually 100% of the time. Originally, you know, she was a big Barack Hussein Obama. Have you ever heard of him? Remember Rush Limbaugh? Rush Limbaugh, he'd be talking about it. We'd go, Barack, he like falling asleep, Barack Hussein Obama. Barack Hussein Obama. We miss Rush, right? But we've got Sean Hannity, and we've got Laura, we've got Jesse. We've got Gutfeld. How do you like Gutfeld? I did his show. You know, I did his show, and he had the highest rating last week, 2 weeks ago. I did his show. He had the highest rating in the history of his show, and he won the entire week in television. How about that?
That's wild.
No, he's good. You know, he used to hate me. He used to hate me. He used to hate Trump. And then after about a year, I just said, that guy really doesn't like me much. Gutfeld, he's a great guy and very talented guy, but he hated me. Oh, it was terrible.
Barack, insane Obama.
After about a year, I noticed it was a change. He said, you know, I don't love this guy, but he does everything. I mean, everything he says, he gets it done. Like, he defeated ISIS in record time. He said he was going to do that. He gave you the largest tax cuts in history, and he said he was going to do it. He got it passed in Congress. He gave you the largest regulation cuts, and he goes through this list. I didn't even know I did that much stuff. But he said, you know, I'm starting to like him, actually. He said, would you rather have a guy that you really like, but he gets nothing done, or a guy that you can't stand, and everything gets done that's good for the country? I built hundreds of miles of wall. I built 571 miles of wall. I was going to add to it much more than I said I was going to build. He said he built the wall. Now, I will say this. I was going to add 200 miles more. I didn't promise to do that, but I thought it would be good. And when they came in, they sold a lot of that for 5 cents on the dollar. And I said, you know what? I think they want open borders. That's when I learned. I think they want open borders. But Gutfeld was great. So anyway, he had these great ratings. And now he really likes me a lot because he says, he does everything he says he's going to do. And I say I'm going to do more than anybody else says they're going to do because I'm a worker and I know how to get things done.
Yep,
so,
me too, Tyler. But I love how Trump acts. It's great.
Because he's a spectacular man. And I'll be honest with you. Stan, would you stand up, please? There is nobody that has ever run for the Senate that has given up so much. He's given up so much.
Great.
He's a great war hero. And he took a big hit. Big hit. He took a hit like nobody takes. And if they took a hit like that, most people wouldn't be around, and other people would just, they wouldn't know what to do. This guy, and he's got the greatest wife and family you've ever seen. And nobody has given up so much as Sam. And Sam, I want you to win so badly, and you know that. And he has my full endorsement and all of that stuff. But he's a great guy. And he's doing very well.
Yeah.
He's against an unpopular person that has no respect in Washington. So let's see what happens. But here's my total and complete, as I say, endorsement. Thank you, Sam, very much. Thank you for being here. We're also pleased to be joined as well by Senator John Cornyn of Texas. John, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I think John agrees with me on Sam, what Sam has done and what he's given up, and he's a big hero. He really is a big hero. Another great one is Wesley Hunt of Texas. Stand up, Wesley. Wesley's fantastic. He's a great guy. Mark Amadai of right here, right around here. Come on, Mark. Where is Mark? Thank you, Mark. Good. Good job. He's a warrior.
He's a warrior.
And a great football player and a great congressman.
He's a
I used
warrior.
to watch him on the great Sean Hannity. Does anybody know Sean Hannity? You are right now on Sean Hannity because we're live on Sean Hannity.
That's great.
And he's great.
Communist.
He's one of the most successful guys in show business, and you wouldn't know it. He's a modest guy, but
the communist.
So I gotta tell you. He's modest, but those lips move. But we have some really good people, but Sean Hannity is great. And that whole group, Jesse, has been great. Pete Hegseth, Rachel. They have a lot of good people. And then they have a few that I can't stand, I'll be honest with you. And I think it hurts them badly, if you want to know the truth. But they have some really, really good ones. And it's an honor. Who? Tucker's great. Tucker's great. And speaking of Tucker, because you like this guy, how did we like J.D. Vance the other night? Right? Right? J.D. Vance was unbelievable the other night. So, Burgess Owens, please stand up. Great football player, great man, great friend of mine. He's been my friend from the beginning.
He's hilarious.
Even before the beginning. He was saying, I hope Trump runs. You know him? No, I don't know him, but I think he'd do a very good job. And so he was there before the beginning. And the Nevada GOP chair, we have a man who works his ass off, right? Michael McDonald. Stand up, Michael. So are we going to win, Mike? We're going to win? He's the Nevada chair, and he's working hard. We're 6 points up. Did you know that? But I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it, Michael. Always I say assume that you're 1 point down, right? Assume you're 1 point down. In 4 incredible years under the Trump administration, we achieved more than any administration in the history of our country. We passed record tax cuts, biggest tax cuts in our history. They want to end them, and that would raise your taxes at levels that nobody's ever seen before. You know, you have one thing in those tax cuts that I hope people appreciate. The estate tax for small businesses, farms, and other things, it's non-existent. You are leaving your farm or your small business to your children, and they had to go out and borrow money to pay the tax, and they'd oftentimes lose it and be depressed for the rest of their lives and worse.
Real
and I got that out. You don't have any estate. When they end this, that comes back. You know, I only tell you that to the people that love their children, because if you don't love your children, it's not really worth that much, to be honest.
Yeah,
Is there
right
anybody in the room who does not love their children?
ADG
I've only had, like, I've said that about 10 times. I've only had one person raise. I said, and I thought he was kidding, and he actually wasn't kidding. But that's a big deal. Think of that. You have no estate tax. You leave your farm now, and they can operate the farm. And, you know, because a lot of farmers, they have great value.
He's fucking Wolverine,
but
bro.
they don't necessarily have a lot of cash. A lot of businesses, they have a value. They have valuable businesses, but no cash. They couldn't pay. They go out, they borrow, and all of a sudden they end up losing it. That won't happen. But if they end our tax cut, you know, that's part of it. So it's to me, it's a very important part. Record tax cuts, record regulation cuts, more than any other administration in history. And we achieved an all-time low unemployment rates, record low poverty rates, and rising wages for everyone at the highest level ever. We had the most successful country in the history of in our history. We never had, and probably in the history of the world, we had never had a period of time like this. And we had, remember this, we also had the best border. Remember that famous, remember the graph that I like more than any graph ever, ever, ever? Because I wouldn't be here. Do you have that graph by any chance? Put it up. I love this piece of beautiful paper. Where is it? Oh, I love it. Oh. I love it. You see the line on the bottom, the red line? That's the lowest point. That was my last day in office. That was the lowest we ever were on illegal immigration. That includes drugs and a lot of other things too, by the way. But look at that. And then it exploded like a rocket ship. Look what happened to it. And now it's worse than ever. But what a beautiful, even if that red line wasn't there, if it was 2 inches to the right, I'd still say what a beautiful piece of paper. Because if I didn't turn to the right to look at that beautiful piece of paper,
No, yeah, no, he just got grazed.
Tonight, you know?
No, they didn't blow no chunk off. He got grazed.
Beautiful.
Your head bleeds a lot.
Yeah, I just realized. I just went like this. Yeah, that's what I did. I went like that. We ended the NAFTA disaster, canceled the TPP, which would have been a disaster for your state, withdrew from the ridiculous, one-sided Paris Climate Accord, and stood up to China. We stood up to China like never before, bringing in tens of billions of dollars when no other president got 10 cents from China. Not Bush, not Obama. They never got.
Obama.
I put on taxes and tariffs. I took in billions, hundreds of billions of dollars from China. It never happened before. And don't let that baby bother you, because it doesn't bother me. To me, it's that beautiful. Where is that baby? That's a good-looking baby. Don't worry about it, Mom. It doesn't bother me. You know what it means? Happy, youthful, beautiful baby, perfect baby. Thank you. We had the most secure border in U.S. history, fully rebuilt the U.S. military, and created a thing called Space Force. That hasn't been done. Remember that. That hasn't been done since Air Force 82 years ago. We obliterated ISIS, and with the Abraham Accords, we made peace in the Middle East, but Biden didn't follow it up. They don't follow anything up. I'm proud to be the first president in decades to have started no new wars. I finished wars.
That was a great thing.
And I also gave you $35 insulin, which Biden and Kamala are trying to take. You know, I was the one that did it. And, you know, it's interesting because I did it, but it doesn't kick in for like 2 or 3 years by statute. And when it kicked in, I said, you know, I better win this thing, because otherwise whoever the hell is president, they're going to take credit for $35 insulin. No, I did it. I did it.
Yeah.
But those
they
4
bleed like
wonderful
a
years
lot
of
more
peace
when they
and
get
prosperity
it.
have been followed by 4 years of misery and failure under the worst president and vice president in American history by far. It's true. It's true. In fact, Jimmy Carter is the happiest man today. You know, he's almost 100, I guess. He's celebrating. He's very close to 100. And he is now happy because he goes down as a brilliant president by comparison to Biden. He didn't have a border like this. He didn't have the problems that we have. We're going to end up in third world war with this guy. We're going to end up in a third world nuclear war because of this guy, because he doesn't have a clue what the hell he's doing. And she is worse. Remember I said it. She is worse than him. She's not as smart as him, and he's not smart at all. But in fact, Kamala Harris is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than Bernie Sanders. She was an original creator of defund the police movement. Think of that. Anybody that was involved in defund the police, even for a day, let alone years, is not worthy of being president of the United States, because we cherish our police. We cherish our police. Kamala Harris vowed to abolish. She vowed to abolish ICE. You know, ICE, these are great patriots. They also happen to be tough people. They take MS-13 gang members out. They deposit them back in their country where they came from. It's a tough job. I mean, I have some tough friends in the front row. They don't want to be member. Would you like to be a member of ICE and run into a pack of MS-13 killers and swing it out for about 2 hours and then stand up and say, let's get them out of here? You wouldn't. Tough guys don't want any part of it. They're tough and they're smart. But you know what? They love our country and they do an incredible job. And she wants to get rid of them. She wants to get rid of ICE. It's not going to happen. She wants to ban fracking, as you know. She wants to ban anything having to do with fossil fuel. She imposed the natural gas export ban and is now shutting down power plants and destroying our electric grid with her crazy Green New Scam regulations. Energy prices are already up this year 50% in Nevada under Kamala. They're going higher. They're going to be maybe double within a year from now. She lost more. And here's to me the worst, because she said, no, she'd like to keep everything just the way it is. This is to me the worst. She lost 325,000 migrant children. They're gone. They're gone. No, but you can't understand. Think of it. 325,000 children are missing. Most of them are dead, in my opinion. And they might, she said all of them, they might be all. They're either sex slaves, dead, or just missing. But many of them are dead. And she said, I want to keep it just like we've had it. There's never been a travesty like that. Think of that. Think of that in relation to wars and everything else. There's never been anything like that. They're innocent kids. Their parents will never see them again, most likely, most of them. And she has the 13,000 illegal alien convicted murderers roaming free in our country, free to kill again. As California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as totally non-violent crimes. No, she's radical left. She just moved a little bit toward MAGA when she realized she wasn't getting any votes, right?
He's
In fact,
terrible.
We're going to send her a MAGA hat, I think, tonight.
Yeah!
And she pledged to confiscate your guns and endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. She sponsored a bill to oppose a 100% ban on gas-powered automobiles. Can you imagine that?
Fuck out of here.
It'll
never happen. It'll never happen.
I really want to drive to Washington, but I don't want to make 7 stops. She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention. At taxpayer expense, one of the most expensive operations, by the way. That's the least of the problems. And perhaps most revealing of all, she lied about working at McDonald's. How simple is that? No, she said everything that she had. I worked hard at McDonald's for a long time. I worked over the French fry bin. You know what I'm doing next week? I'm going to a McDonald's to work. Because if I work there for 10 minutes, I will have worked there longer than her.
Yeah!
You know, in many ways, I don't like that because it's so basic. You know, it's just so. But there's something beautiful about it too. It's so simple. She worked at McDonald's, meaning I worked so hard. It's hard work. She worked at McDonald's. It turned out to be a lie. She's a liar. That's why I call her Lion. That's why I call her Lion. I had her as comrade.
I'm done. I'm fucking
Here's
done.
another poll.
I'm voting for her.
Kamala Harris. Comrade meaning like, you know, sort of a communist thing. Or who likes Lion? Let's do comrade.
Bro,
first.
he's
Who likes
on
comrade?
one tonight.
Comrade Kamala Harris. Lion Kamala Harris. I guess that's the end of that one. But with your vote this November, you know, I did 3 of them today. I did a little one, a little tiny one with a small group, and then I did a really big one. I did a big one, and I did this one, and I'm still raring to go. They say, how the hell do you get the energy? How do you get the energy?
How the hell do you get it? I don't understand
I love
it.
doing it. You know why? Because I see it. We're making so much progress. We're exposing her for what she is, an incompetent communist. And people aren't going to have that because we don't have a choice. If we don't win this election, you know, there are those people that say you'll never have another election if we don't win this one. That could be possible. Look at Venezuela. Look at so many places. You know, it sounds far-fetched. It's not at all. Look at what's happened in just 3.5 years. Look at what's happened to our country in 3.5 years.
Yeah.
We have to get out. We have to win this election. But with your vote this November, we are going to defeat these radical left country destroyers, and we are going to finish what we so brilliantly started. We had it going so good. On day one, I will close the border.
Legit,
I will stop the invasion of illegals into our country.
It'll be the fucking greatest.
And we will begin the largest deportation operation in the history of the
What if we did a
United
tour
States?
working at McDonald's, every McDonald's for 10 minutes?
The illegal migrants coming into our country are taking the jobs of American citizens. But you know what they're really taking? The jobs of black and Hispanic workers. They're taking the jobs. Black community, Hispanic community is being decimated by what's happening. They're coming in and they're taking the jobs. And you know what's going to be next? Unions are going to become, they're going to be next. They're going to take a lot of union jobs away. They're going to take jobs away, period. But the black community, you saw the bad numbers last week. They were terrible. They got down. You know why? Because they're hiring people. Well, you had a job for years, and now all of a sudden somebody else is taking the job. And it's also affecting the Hispanic people. And my numbers with the black, and especially black men, I love black men.
Yes, I did. They're so hilarious, Kalisha. I love them!
I have gone through the roof with black men. Black men. I don't do quite as well with black women, I must say. I don't know why, but I'm sure that'll work out too. But it's I do appreciate it. I do, and we're doing unbelievably with Hispanic. The Hispanic population has been incredible.
Yes.
We will quickly become energy independent as we were before and make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. We will frack, 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 and drill, baby, drill.
No, not yet. Not yet tonight.
And we will terminate the insane mandate demanding that you have to have all electric. Everybody has to have an electric car within a very short period of time. That goes for trucks and everything else. You know, the truckers, it doesn't work. The battery is so heavy. You know that a battery for a truck is so heavy that you'd have to rebuild every bridge in America because they can't handle the weight. That doesn't affect these people. The other thing is you'd have 6 stops between New York and Los Angeles. With diesel, you'd have none and can even come back 10%, okay? You'd have none. Think of it. And it takes up a lot of payload. But think about it. It's much heavier. The battery's very heavy, right? Very, very heavy. You would have to rebuild every bridge in America because it's not designed for that kind of a load. Can you believe it? And I said to this gentleman, one of the big truckers, one of the biggest, maybe the biggest in the world, I said, have you told them that, yes, what did they say? We don't care. We want you to build all electric. And he ain't doing it. I'll tell you, he's not doing it. I said, how many trucks do you have? He said, 29,000. I said, you got 29,000. How big are they? They're all 18-wheelers? Is that what it is? The big ones are 18-wheelers?
Yeah, he does.
He said, you must be very rich. He said,
he's probably exercising and stuff.
Make me poor. He said, you know, he said something interesting. He said,
we hate him.
I've been
we hate him
for 50 years. And every year they get better, more efficient, stronger, bigger, better looking. And now we even build beautiful, I call them an apartment. We build beautiful apartments behind that cab, and they are beautiful. This guy loves trucks, and they are beautiful. Sir, honestly,
this guy loves
you'd
trucks.
be proud to live in one of them. And I said,
yeah. It's got to be.
You think she'd love it? I don't know. I don't know if she'd love it. I can handle it.
Bro, he's the GOAT.
Like it. I don't know if she. By the way, go buy her book. Her book is great. I was a little nervous when I read it because I said, I wonder if she's going to be hitting me hard. No, she was very nice. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend it. It's very simple. Now, go buy it. It's great. It's number one bestseller. I will stop outsourcing and turn the U.S. into a manufacturing superpower.
It's legit empty. It's so funny.
We will slash a record amount of government waste. He's good at that. That's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to be a secretary. He doesn't need it. He's got rocket ships all over the place. He's a wild man, I'll tell you. But you know what he wants to do? He said, I can cut costs trillions of dollars, and nobody will be even affected, and our country will be back in great shape. Between that and charging countries that come in and
I love that
plunder
Elon's
and
with us.
steal, we'll have a country that's a machine. We're going to make a beautiful machine, and then we're going to take all that money and pay off debt and help people that are not in good shape and sick and old and tired. But he wants to do that. He doesn't want anything. He doesn't want a title. He just wants to say, look, there's so much waste and abuse and fraud.
Go up.
You ever hear
Who's
the
on the
expression,
camera? Go
fraud,
up.
Waste and abuse, right? Levels that you wouldn't even believe. You know, when I cut the price of Air Force One, I bought it.
Same.
Sir, it will be $5.8 billion.
Yeah.
I said, nope, I'm not doing it.
Yes.
I was
Maybe I'm for it. Maybe I'm for the robots then, Pickle.
They said Barack Hussein Obama. I said, well, then it's too high. They said, why do you say that, sir? Because he negotiated it. It's too high. And I said, it has to have a 3. You know that, sir. It has to have it. So I waited, Boeing. And then finally they said, oh, boy. Because they thought they had. So think of it. If I didn't do that, they would have made $1.7 billion. I said, because they ultimately cut it down to
No, Kalisha, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to eliminate the middle class. You're the poor or rich.
99 cents. 1 penny. I said, it's got to have a 3 in front. This had a 5 and it's 5.7. So I said, let me ask you a question. So if I didn't come along, you would
they're trying to kill the middle class.
Same exact plane. Right?
They want
Except
everybody either rich or poor.
Job, much nicer. It's true. It was red, white, and blue the way it should be.
Yeah.
It wasn't baby blue, it was blue.
Yeah, you would.
Blue. But no, I did a great job on it. But I said to the head of Boeing, I said, this was before the 2 planes went down. This is before the problems for Boeing. You know, Boeing was considered maybe the greatest, but certainly one of the greatest companies in the world.
You are lucky, especially nowadays, to get something like that cheap.
I said, you mean if I didn't come along, you would have made $1.7 billion on this. Actually, it's 2 planes, you know. It's Air Force One is actually 2 planes, 2 identical planes, 747s. You would have made $1.7 billion. He said, well, yeah, we of course, you know.
We all are.
The answer is they would have made $1.7 billion. So Elon's actually right, because they shouldn't make that kind of money on it. But I got him down $1.7 billion. It took about 2 months of not returning phone calls. I will end the war in Ukraine, stop the chaos in the Middle East, and prevent World War
III. My dog.
I will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect.
That's so funny, Pickle.
They dearly, look, you know that. They dearly deserve it. We're going to give our police their respect back. They want to do the job. No, but think of that with all the criminals that are being put in all over the world. This is not just South America. We mentioned Venezuela, but it's all over the world. Crime is down all over the world. Prison populations are down all over the world. They're delivering into the United States mental patients, prisoners, killers, drug dealers, gang members, criminals, street criminals. They're all here. They're all going to be here soon. We're not going to allow it to happen. Not going to happen. We will strengthen and modernize our military. We will build a missile defense shield, all made in the USA.
Not made in China. That's a question you should ask. China.
Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. You'll like this.
You little scumbag! I got your name. I got your ass. You will not
No.
You will not cry. You will learn by the numbers.
Not at all, I don't think.
Happy Pride Month, and actually, let's declare it a summer of pride.
So you're a killer? Sir, yes, sir. Let me see your war face. Sir, you got a war face? Ah! That's a war face.
He's showing the movie.
Bullshit. You didn't convince me. Let me see your real war face. You will be a weapon. You will be a minister of
Yeah.
brave for war.
Yeah.
But until that day, you are pukes. You are the lowest form of life on
Oh,
earth.
this is great. I love it, Pickle.
You are nothing but an organ large, grabastic pieces of amphibian shit.
How to
Abracadabra, these bitches know I got answers the way I.
It looks to me like the best part of you ran down the crack of your mama's ass and ended up as a brown stain on the mattress. I love working for Uncle Sam. I love working for Uncle Sam.
I have no idea. Seriously, James. He's such a savage.
It may not be politically correct, but we won 2 world wars.
Oh my God, this is hilarious.
Big, ugly wars.
Serious.
And we are in a woke mode. Look, I defeated ISIS in a matter of weeks. It was supposed to take years. And those people did it. And I had great generals, not the guys you see on television that don't know what the hell they're doing. And they are woke. But the military, you could take these military guys that we have and put them into a woke cage. They call it a woke cage. Scream at them for 2 years about wokeism, and they come out and they want to beat your ass. We have very tough, smart, great military. We have to take care of our military, though. We gave billions and billions of dollars of it to Afghanistan, to the Taliban. You know, we didn't have one soldier killed in 18 months. They were going along killing our soldiers. And I made a phone call, and the fake news, that's a lot of fake news back there. Look. The fake news. That's a lot. That's a lot of cameras. It's amazing when I watch and I see those red lights. You know, when the red lights are on them. And sometimes I'll point to them, and as soon as I start pointing, those lights go off so fast. We will lead the world in space and reach Mars before the end of my term, and we will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. And I will support universal school choice, very important.
That shit was so funny.
Race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools.
Yeah!
And we will keep men out of women's sports.
Boo!
I will defend the Second Amendment.
It's too much entertainment.
Religious liberty,
Boo!
restore free speech, and we will secure our elections. Under the Trump administration, we will put American citizens first, American children first, American patients first. You cannot get into a hospital, by the way, because the migrants have all of the beds. You cannot get into a hospital. You cannot get your kids into a school because there are migrants there that don't even speak the language. It's unbelievable. They're giving...
Yeah, I want it.
Kamala,
I like it.
They're giving precedence over your children who've been in that school. Is it not even thinkable?
Hey, Monica, how you doing,
I
beautiful?
will put American taxpayers first, American workers first.
Yeah, it's really weird,
and
Alicia.
American
It's really
communities
weird.
First. And we will put communists and Marxists and fascists last. We're going to put them last, way down at the bottom.
Everybody, if you guys have it yet, could you please make sure to hit that like for me?
We will defend our territory. We will not be conquered. They're trying to conquer us. Think of it. These guys are walking in with guns that are more sophisticated than our military has. They have no money. They come in from different parts of the world, and they have better guns than we have. There's something going on, but I'll get to it very quickly. It's going to end. It's going to end unpleasantly.
Thank you.
For them.
Appreciate it. Whoever did that. Thank you, guys.
We will reclaim our
doesn't tell me
sovereignty,
who.
and I will give you back
But I
your
appreciate
freedom, your life, and your country.
Yeah.
Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive. And every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. We're going to bring back the American dream. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop a radical left agenda once and for all. We want a landslide
Dude,
that is
a
too
kid
big
can't
to
decide.
risk,
It
too
is
big
what
to
it is when you're born.
And again, early mail-in voting is underway, and you have to get out there and do it and get everyone you know to vote. Because think of this. After everything that we've been through a lot together, right?
Yeah.
These are vicious, horrible people. I call it the enemy from within. We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. If we win this election, we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country.
Oh, man. I got to get rid of this fucking...
From now until Election Day,
bullshit.
we will redeem America's promise. We will put America first. And we will take back the
it's so
nation
weird,
that we
Alicia.
love. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. And together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again.
We will make America great again.
Make America healthy again. We will make America stronger
again.
We will make America proud again.
He's got that Vince McMahon bloodline in him, bro.
America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. Thank you, Reno. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you all.
Watch. He'll do it. Gotta hit him with the Trump. All right, I don't want to play no music. Dude, that's fucking hilarious. I love Trump. The GOAT. Legit the GOAT. I'm about to make so many different fucking memes out of that. Yeah, make America say yeehaw again. Bro, I am legit about to make so many fucking memes from this. Listen to this one. Richie, listen.
You a hoe I ain't voting for. You a hoe I ain't voting for.
His hair looks gray, not blonde anymore. It might have just been the coloring, or he might dye his hair blonde. You never know.
You a hoe I ain't voting for.
So, did you guys see this? Let me hold on a second. TikTok.
How you doing?
Profile. Posted.
Here we.
Have you know?
Here we are. We're in. Here we are. Here we are. We're in New York City, the source. The immigrants are here and they're eating the dogs. They're breeding the dogs and eating the dogs. They call this the hometown buffet. Look at them running. They're still raw. It's like in Red Lobster when they have the live lobsters and you can choose which one. That's what they're doing. The immigrants, they're picking which one they want to eat. And then they're going to look over there. They're bringing the dogs to us. They're bringing us a live one. They have a live one. It's a doodle. It's a live doodle. Look at that. Wow. Delicious. It looks so good. And you see they have the bigger ones there. They're market price. These ones are market price. You have to pay extra for these. And you can grill them or you can also deep fry. Deep fry. We love a golden fried golden doodle. We're doing that a lot. The golden fried doodles. And then the Labradors, we're putting them in oven. Here
in an oven.
Have you know?
Listen to her new accent, Pickle.
Empathy, man.
Yes.
You know, for the suffering of others. Have you know empathy, man?
Yes.
You know, for the suffering of others.
I fucking love it.
60 minutes.
Oh, look at this guy. I don't know what that was. Hold on.
Here we are. We're in New York City, the source. The immigrants are here and they're eating the dogs, they're breeding the dogs and eating the dogs. They call this the hometown buffet. Look at them running. They're still raw. It's like a... Here we are. One.
Oh, look at this one.
2, 3 into that 4. Trump, Donnie, Don, and Elon Musk is at that door. Ready to save this country, so back us up.
Please don't let them bump the taxes up.
Give me the microphone on, the state of Florida's in trouble. After the storm's finally over, who gon' visit the rebel? Ain't nothing better than you think, baby. 2 Chaz on my life, don't faze me. Don't vote for the childish cat lady.
DJT's coming back to make it great.
Get a for your ass in November, come vote for me. This election could be tight, left Kamala wasn't 7-3. Take a cup of the backwards sector, hack by Bajo B, DONARTTRUMPUC.
Dude, it's so fake.
I've been sleeping. Every time I stand up, I got a turtle head creeping. Now it's time for me to pack my shit and go. Mr. Musk, I'm bust up that autistic flow.
If we let Kamala win, then the country's poop. You should listen to the man with more green than Snoop. If you think that Donald's bad, sorry you've been duped. Remember, even pits and brats smell like chicken soup.
I'm 45, 47, won't forget 9/11. Home Alone to a Kevin Trump.
I'm Jamaican.
MAGA. 1, 2,
MAGA.
The other side wants to take away your freedom of speech. They want to take away your right to bear.
All right, hold on.
I called for help.
All right, here we go. All right, so somebody sent that to me earlier. Maybe my buddy, was it Phil? Here it is. Oh, watch this one.
Say what?
That says Kamala.
You mad?
It says that.
Are you mad? Yes, it says Kamala. You're smart.
You're the only stupidest one.
Girl, be quiet.
So the Trump fraud case went before the appellate court this week.
Watch this.
And by the time it
And
was
after
over,
this, I'm right
the
gonna jump off.
closing arguments of the Democrat lawyers was just them begging to not get sanctioned. So look, many people aren't aware that the Trump fraud case went before the appeals court this week. And if you don't know how an appeals court works, there are 5 judges that sit in judgment for these cases. And they basically let the prosecution and the defense both lay out their cases. And their job is to consider whether or not the case was worth hearing in the first place. And it went so badly for the Democrat lawyers that by the end of it, their closing arguments was just them begging to not get sanctioned. So they argued a ton of different things throughout this case. But the biggest thing was the judges kept interrupting them. They kept saying, hold on. Can you find me one other time in history where the person who took the loan was able to call the bank that they took the loan from, and then that bank showed up and said, we weren't defrauded? And the lawyers spent like 2 hours trying to find one little instance where it happened.
Yeah.
And the judges said, okay, let's try something else. They said, hey, have you ever prosecuted someone for lying about the value of a property when it resulted in the entire loan being paid back with interest? And again, they gave them like 2 hours to try to explain their case, and they still couldn't produce a single case where that had happened. And then the judges said, hey, you know what? We'll give you another
Let's go,
shot.
Kalisha.
They said, have you ever seen an attorney general prosecute a
Yeah,
case
I'm about to be on in a minute.
there was no damage
That's all right.
to the
You can't win them
public?
all.
There was no damage to the person you said was defrauded, and there was no actual malice committed by the person who took the loan. And then they took another like 6 hours on that one. And by the end of it, the judges were like, so you don't have any instance of that happening. And then by the time they were done, the judges were like, I don't even know if this is a case that should have been brought. And they said, look, y'all might need to be sanctioned for bringing this case in a malicious manner. One of the judges actually said, I have come to believe that since a case like this has never been brought in the history of the country, not only New York, that you have only brought this case because the person was running for president, which would put you afoul of not only multiple regulations
Election
regarding the law,
interference.
but would also run you afoul of electioneering interference. In fact, at the end of it, when they got to give their closing arguments, instead of arguing the value of their case, instead of arguing that like we should have been able to bring this case because of X and Y and all this shit, they actually just said at the end, we hope that the court will take into account that lawyers need to be able to bring cases like this without the threat of sanction. Basically, they were saying, we hope that you decide that we're not going to get in trouble for bringing this bullshit case. That was what happened at the appellate court. So Trump, being found guilty of fraud and having to pay 500 some odd million fucking dollars, and the whole left celebrating about that, he's going to get all that money back.
All of it.
Because the appellate court was like, this is a bullshit case. The people he took the loan from literally came to court on his behalf and said, hey, we weren't defrauded. We knew he overvalued Mar-a-Lago. We took that into our calculations. And even if we had taken that into our calculations, and the value of Mar-a-Lago was part of 0.14. Like the president
Yo, he
of
kind
Deutsche
of looks
Bank
like
said,
Fat
"You know why
Trojan."
we gave him the loan? It had nothing to do with the value of Mar-a-Lago. It
No, I
had to
take
do
that
with
back.
we given him 21 other loans, and he has paid back all
Scandinavia.
21 with interest.
I
We
said
were giving him
Scandinavia,
the
but that's
loan
better one, actually.
regardless of the value
You're
of
Scandinese.
anything. And that's where the appellate court was like, how do you have a case? Deutsche Bank literally said we were giving him the loan regardless. And that's when they started begging to not get sanctioned. So yeah, that's what happened with the Trump fraud case this week. Going really well for the Democrats.
Is it really? It kind of looks like Trojan a little bit. I'm just saying because it knows it doesn't really. Let's see.
I called for help twice, and not a fuck.
All right, chat. Trojan's more blunt. That's true. All right, chat. On that note, I'm going to end it. I'm about to set up for my gaming stream. So if you guys want it, yeah, and his eyes are round. That's true. His nose looked a little bit different. But I'm about to set up for my gaming stream, so I'm going to end this one. Just come stop in. You guys know who it is. All right. I'll see you guys in a minute. Peace.